Yes. Welcome back to Gareth Talks Tottenham. How are we doing? How are we doing on this miserable day in Kent? I've come back from Cornwall and it's absolutely miserable. And it's just clouds after clouds after clouds. Don't get me wrong, there was a cloud in Cornwall before I left, but generally it warmed up all the way through Devon, all the way back up through Somerset. And then as I got back to London, it started getting gloomy again, which is the standard stupid shit that happens in within this county and London and stuff like that. So hence the reason why I want to plan to move down that way. So I'm always nearer the nicer weather generally. But there's going to be rain, there's going to be wind, there's going to be waves and choppy seas and stuff like that. But I just love a bit of seaside. I really do. So anyway, let's get into it, shall we? So welcome everybody. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the podcast or the stream, shall we say? Yeah, so look, all these transfers and stuff like that are dragging on, aren't they? We are a few days away from what are we? Sunday. Today's Wednesday, Thursday, 1, 2, 3. Essentially 4 days away from the start of the Premier League season, and we are still struggling to get attacking players through the door, and we have not made any significant moves at present into that market. There's a lot of rumblings behind the scenes with Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein and people like that are saying that we are in some kind of negotiations and bits and pieces are going on, but we haven't got anything concrete on the table. And when it comes to that kind of stuff, we are looking to try to get the right people through the door. And when it comes to choosing and crafting out the team that we want to go forward for next season, it is very important that we get things right, get things absolutely right. Bear with me 1 second, my daughter. 1 second. Sorry about that. My daughter asked if she could use her iPad. Yeah, very much so. Trying to make sure we get things right, make sure we get the right players through the door, because it's important. We over the years we've spent badly. We spent money on players that were just not good enough at the end of the day. And now it looks like we're trying to get players. Now, if we look at the players that we're interested in at the moment, the solid players that we're interested, we're seeing obviously Cody Gakpo and Savinho. They're the two main names that we're seeing in the press. Yeah, they're the two main players. Both very complete players. Very, very. I'd say that Gakpo is probably the more complete attacker. While we've got 17 people watching me at the moment, if you can like and subscribe to the channel, help me, give me some favors. Hit the notification bell, subscribe, share it with your friends, drop a comment, because your comments will be read and will be read out, and we'll talk about those things. I'm quite happy to open and answer questions related to Spurs, that is. So yeah, please subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends. I really need those. I'm trying to push up to 105 subscribers now. So yeah, when you look at those two players, Cody Gakpo and Savinho, both of them are fantastic players, and I think, to be honest, both of them are going to bring a lot to the table to Tottenham Hotspur. But the negotiations keep going on and on and on. So let's break them down. So Savinho, that has been going on for a year, and we haven't got any closer to the situation. The player wants to go to Tottenham. The personal terms have been agreed. Everything is pretty much done, but Man City are not budging. They want a silly amount of money for him, which they should want to get a lot of money for him, because they want to sell as much. Spurs have done the same in the past. They've negotiated and try and get as much money as they can for the players, and I totally get that. That's totally warranted. But when a player is that unhappy at the team and he wants to leave, and his desire is to go to Spurs or another club, and he's actually come out and turned around and said, "I want to leave," there's sometimes you have to sit there and bite the bullet and turn and say, "Do you know what? We'll take a hit on this one and just get the player out the door, because he sees his future elsewhere." And that is the situation with Savinho. I mean, the player is dragging on and dragging on and dragging on, and where is it going to? It's crazy the things that I'm reading about it. The player wants out, he wants this, he's not turning up training, he skipped training, blah, 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 blah. That doesn't fill me with a lot of joy, by the way. You know, when players skip training, I hate that. You know, Harry Kane apparently was late coming back because he was when Man City move collapsed and all that kind of stuff. And you sit there and you think to yourself, um, you know, when you're talking about all that kind of stuff, you sit there and you uh, analyze it and you think, that's not very good. When you're behaving like that, the club that's given you so much, and now you're throwing your toys out the pram because you're not getting your own fucking way. Yeah. Subject of topic, by the way, cakewalk is transfers. So Tottenham Hotspur transfers specifically, because this is a Tottenham channel. So yeah, it seems a bit weird that Man City are digging their heels in so deep for a player that is not worth 85 million pounds. He's probably worth best part of 50, 55, 60 tops. Yeah. But because he's 21 years old and he is a Brazilian and he's got bags full of potential. He's a very talented player. I think they're trying to dig as deep as possible to try and get as much money as possible out of Spurs, because they possibly know that he's going to go on and be successful and probably be worth upwards of 120 to 150 million pound in the future. Yeah. So that is the reason why they are digging their heels in. Welcome everybody to chat, by the way. Thank you for watching me. I am talking sense. Trying to. That moves us to Cody Gakpo. So Cody Gakpo, a player at Liverpool, again, has expressed his desire to move. I've read reports that personal terms have been agreed. He is absolutely up for moving, going to Tottenham Hotspur in a makeshift, not saying makeshift, a brand new front three. We still need a striker, and I do believe this is a very dry market for a striker, so I don't think that Spurs are going to get one, but they could possibly push Cody Gakpo into the number 9 position and use him like that. So bearing in mind you've got Savinho one side, a fit Kudus on the other side, and Cody Gakpo, plus you've got Solanke there as well. You probably couldn't fucking hit a barn door even if you tried. We definitely need a new number 9 striker, a big striker. But that could possibly be in the next window, depending how much Spurs are prepared to fork out and how much what players come available, really. Because at the moment there doesn't seem to be that many strikers available and that many talented strikers. So Spurs, we're interested to see what they do. Now, last year they bought Kolo Muani on the last day of the window, and that was a surprise. No one saw that coming, and that came in, and he was a striker. So we'll see what actually happens, and it was a lone striker as well. So we'll see. We might end up bringing in a lone striker. Who knows? So yeah, so these are the players that are linked, and it's just the merry-go-round is going around and around and around, and it just keeps going on and on and on until we sit there and find out what is actually going on. But there's 4 days left to the first game of the season. That's not the end of the window, by the way. There's still time. Yeah, but let's hope that Spurs can actually do something. Yeah, so. A bit of fresh news today, a hot topic, I suppose, and I think an absolute no-brainer of a signing. We are linked, according to Sky Sports, with a move for Emi Martinez, the Aston Villa goalkeeper. Apparently, the deal was kind of agreed with, I think, Juventus, and something that's happened, it's collapsed. But Spurs are apparently prepared to offer him 15 million for him. They're just a fucking excellent goalkeeper. If we could bring him in as well as Kinski, we got Kinski, Dubravka, and him. That makes our goalkeeper choices so much better than what they have been in the past. I mean, he's a top goalkeeper, and if anything was happened to Kinski, we've got an absolute top draw keeper to come in. So that is an absolute no-brainer, to be honest. I know he's Argentinian, and people will kind of ruffle the feathers and turn around and say, well, he's a piece of shit because he's Argentinian, and look what happened at the World Cup and all the stuff that happened there. But for me, I don't give a fuck. Messi was in that team, and Julian Alvarez was in that team that is in the World Cup against England, and both of them are outstanding players, and I would take them all day long to Tottenham. I don't give a shit. There's only one Argentinian player that I wouldn't take to Tottenham, and that is Romero, and the guy's just fucked off. So, I'm so happy he's gone. Waste of a space defender, absolute liability, calamity defender. Not playing football, just trying to break people's legs. Stupid player. Very generally thick, I think. So anyway, enough about Romero. You get me riled up. So yeah, I'm seeing reports about Alex Scott as well. He is an absolute complete midfielder. What a player he would be for Spurs. Our Spurs looking at the situation and thinking to himself, well, you got Madison, Kulusevski's not back, Xavi's out. Thing, where's the creativity coming from? Alex Scott would absolutely provide that, and I think there's an argument to turn around and say that you possibly could move Madison on or Kulusevski on if these two guys can't get themselves fit. If they can't get themselves fit for the game, we need to move them on. It's simple as that. You know what I mean? So yeah, it is very, very simple in terms of that. Um, so yeah, here's a question for you for the chat. Would you want to see James Maddison leave Tottenham Hotspur? Let me know your comments. Tell me. Like I read through the comments, I'll see them. I read through them, and I understand what goes on. So yeah. But yeah, that's our transfer roundup today. Nothing crazy, just a few bits and bobs, and a bit of basically a bit of housekeeping, really, just mopping up a few tweaks and stuff like that have been going on. But there's not really much going on at the moment. Hopefully there'll be some kind of movement in the next 24, 48 hours. But I do know by Friday they have to be registered to even stand a chance to play against Brentford. They need to be registered by Friday. That is a situation. So let's see. Today's Wednesday. There's 2 more days. Are Spurs going to pull something out of the bag and get them over the line, ready for the start of the season? Who knows? But it is dragging on, and we've been linked with Savinho, for example, since the start of the summer, and it is just going on and on and on. But the window is still open, even after the first game of the season. It's still open to the end of the month, so there's still time. There's still time, but I'm sure De Zerbi would love to have these players in the squad now, ready, willing, and able to fight for the badge, because we need to start the season with a win against Brentford. We're going away. It's a tough place to go. And, if Spurs got anything about them, they really need to set the tone and actually go out there and perform. So, anyways, have a great day. Enjoy the miserable weather. That's enough for me from Kent here. But we will be back possibly tomorrow with some updates and bits and pieces to seeing how things develop. Take care, stay safe, and as always, come on, you Spurs.